Hello everyone and welcome back to our another week, another Nativz co-stream. I am Healthy, joined by Zach. Lisa's in the background somewhere, but we're going straight into draft. We're a little bit behind schedule today, but yeah, unfortunately we lost our game yesterday to Blue Whites, which definitely means that we are guaranteed out of playoffs from this point forward. But of course we're still going to bring you a co-stream. Zach, how are you today?
I'm doing alright. I'm a little sad, Nativz are out. But you know what? We're playing against Ruddy. We can still be positive, and the thing that we need to think about now is how do we keep ourselves in Division 1? Because remember, even if we lose here today, 100% into that losers bracket. So we have to defeat these Division 2 teams. And we did lose against Blue Whites yesterday.
Yeah, but we're gonna have to see how we can change it up. And to be fair, getting space onto an Aphelios, definitely something different. So we're gonna have to see how this goes.
Exactly. Heltic, just a quick thing. I am not able to see what you're able to see.
I am fixing that.
Sorted.
Fixing that.
It's all good. I'm really excited to see the draft, because remember what we saw last time? We saw Pantheon support. We can see more things. And the sunlight that's raising on me is hopefully what's going to happen with our draft today, just pure excitement, pure enjoyment as we come straight through. And you said the Aphelios, and yeah, expect it to most likely going to be paired up with that threshing towards the bot lane, maybe picking up the Skarner, which has been very popular towards the top side as well. Or if they want to try and counter this this jungle of Carthus, is you just pick Ivan into it, get yourself a redemption, and negate the ultimate fully.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, so we're gonna have to see what they decide to go with. I wonder if we're actually gonna see a Hui into the Tristana instead of the traditional Corki, which we've been seeing a lot of recently.
I'm a massive fan of Corki into Tristana, as yes, Tristana gets pushing towards the early game, but after you get those armor boots, you basically handshake and say, hey, you can't kill me anymore, and I outscale you. But instead, going with that way, trying to match that early game pressure, trying to push out that wave, and that will make sense if they pick up this Nocturne towards the jungle, as when you're already out, make sure to go as aggressive as possible, so this Nocturne can get pushed towards top side if they want, but I just want them to go in and have some fun this game.
Yeah, Nativz, they know they're out now. They know that they can't make playoffs, so now they're just gonna probably have some fun. I'd say they're gonna pick some picks that they like playing. That's why we're gonna see the Nocturne and the Hui come out. I would have expected the Corki, but I believe we had that matchup yesterday in our match against Blue Whites. It didn't go the best, so fair enough that change it up, go for the Hui, who's still very good in the mid lane, has still a lot of damage, and I think has been a little bit underrated because of the amount of Tristana Corkis we've been seeing.
Yeah, so Hui, of course, not going to be as good as Tristana earlier on, but after that first item comes through, you start really ripping up those waves, so Tristana never really has push against you. But more importantly, Heltic, this still can get placed towards the bot lane, so there's very much flexibility in that pick. I know that Bull is somebody who isn't the best, or not the best, but just doesn't enjoy playing it as much as these aggressive bot lane champions. So most likely will be towards the mid lanes. We get through towards those second bans, getting away the Malphite, having a Aphelios AD. Malphite jumps onto him. Doesn't seem like a good time as Ruddy's banning away all those champions to try and help keep this Aphelios safe, especially into that Alistar that has a tough time into the champions like Grom, of course, because he has the shield up and his passive, and as well that Lulu with that polymorph, as anyone knows that lasts for about 10 seconds.
Yeah, Lulu's polymorph, very annoying, but we're gonna have to see whether they actually do decide to pick that Thresh to pair it up with the Aphelios, because we haven't seen Ball on it so far, but I wouldn't be surprised if he plays it. He plays a lot of things, and he's so far has been showing off on a lot of champions, has been very good for this native side. It's going to be the Kaisa. Oh no, Ashe potentially for this ADC role.
Yeah, I'm a lot more of a fan of the Ashe than the other champion that they picked beforehand, as Ashe is able to help you keep push in towards his bot lane against the Aphelios, unless he has that blue gun. And on top of that, gives you the roaming capabilities for your Alistar to get out of lane, compared to the Kaisa that they've locked in, which is very much, hey, mid lane, when you push out, we're not there to help you as much. It's more about trying to find these kills with this Kaisa. When you have the ultimate from your jungler on top of that, they definitely can burst people through, as we are going to be seeing the Thresh locked in from the side of Nativz. Great counteraction towards the Alistar. And as this draft is starting to shape itself, I don't feel like they have the engage potential they need to follow up with this Nocturne. So I feel like it's kind of a pick that you just added because you could.
Yeah, it's and we're gonna see potentially a Renekton for Theo. Theo, who's had kind of a rough time of it so far in the games that we've seen, has had a couple good performances, but has been really struggling to find a pick that suits him. Even on his his trademark Skarner, we haven't seen like a massive performance out of him. Going on to Renekton, playing something a little bit more safe, something that scales into that late game, can help the team once CFLEOS gets online.
Yeah, Renekton, one of those champions to help with that early game pressure. Is going to do pretty well in towards the jungler Kritikuten when he has that up, but will actually get counterpicked with the Jax towards the top lane. As early on, yes, Renekton can try and counteract him by waiting for the E to try and finish it up to find your stun otherwise, but the longer the game goes, Renekton is not having a fun time. So I do expect the Nativz to play towards the top side if they can, with the ultimate available, with the point and click CC, can try and find this kill. Compared to Ruddy, who has incredible scaling themselves, I expect them to be more towards the jungle, make sure that he's able to get towards that level 6 mark, as that's when Alistar's ultimate comes online, and same with their jungler as well.
Yeah, yeah. So honestly, who do you think has won the draft here, Seth?
Well, for me, I think Ruddy probably has the more comfortable draft. The only thing that can be a bit scary is this bot lane early on, especially that Alistar can't really do much in this laning phase, especially with that Thresh Flay and Hook, as Ball has been, I would say, the best player on this Nativz side for the whole entire split. So seeing him on somebody who is mechanical, I do expect him to be able to perform towards the level he needs to help the team do something.
And Lisa is here. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Hey, Lisa.
Oh, I think her camera died. The timing on that is perfect. And she may be back. I'm not sure. I'll just bring us to the two casters while she gets herself sorted. But she will be here for the interviews after the game. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting game to see how it goes for these two teams. As we said beforehand, Ruddy are top of the league currently. I think they're 9-3 or something, and we are sitting at 3-10, 3-9. So
it's a rough one to say the least. But Celtic, one thing about Ruddy is, remember they had this amazing miracle run last split where they had about a 4% chance they made it to EMEA Masters. It was absolutely incredible. This split has been a little bit different. They said, hey, this miracle run stuff, we don't need it anymore. Let's just, be the best in the league. And Ruddy has clearly shown now and again why they are going to be the best in the league, as it feels like every single lane of theirs has been able to sync up together. And that really comes down to how well Ruddy as a organization has been able to keep themselves together and get themselves over the finish line, especially with a ton of brand new players. And with Nativz as well, I feel like even though it hasn't worked out this split, Nativz has done a pretty good job of bringing a ton of mostly newer names to this league and giving themselves an opportunity to show off what they can do.
Yeah, that's for sure. Like we've seen how well Dem and Hybrid have played on this team. Two brand new players coming into the NLC. Obviously, we picked up Painful, who has had some pretty decent games in mid lane as well. I remember that Yone game where he just absolutely obliterated earlier on in the split. But as the split's gone, obviously we've seen that the Nativz roster has fallen down a little bit, but I am curious to see whether we could take a win off of Ruddy here and just make it so that we can still play spoiler to these teams that have made it into playoffs. We can make it so that Ruddy isn't first or second and they don't get a pick of their opponent in playoffs.
Yeah, 100%. If we can push them into an uncomfortable situation, it can definitely help us out, but we're just about to get ourselves into the game.
And we are on to the Rift for the final time this week. Nativz versus Ruddy. We're going to see very standard starts here from the two teams. No lane swaps going on. We're moving away from that meta anyway.
There was actually something that happened, I believe, in the CBL League, which was very interesting. They played Nyla plus Lee Sin in towards the bot lane, and they actually went in towards the enemy base at level 2 and tried to proxy all 3 waves at once. It was some absolutely maniac stuff, and I would love to see that coming out from one of these NLC teams, as when this is your last game 100%, no matter if you do win or lose, or at least one of the last ones, just have a bit of fun, try these new strategies, as the lane swaps only became a big thing in the recent MSI is because these teams wanted to innovate, tried new things, and that's why I'm excited to see this team in the next split.
Yeah, definitely. The map changes, item changes that came in this season have kind of given birth to so many different like alternatives to and ideas of how to play the game. You know, we've seen this lane swap meta come back. We've seen so many more, like even just role changes. We're seeing a lot more AP mids or AD mids, AP, and a lot more APCs. So the game at the moment is probably I feel like it's in a really good state in terms of innovation, at least.
Yeah, very interesting state to say the least, especially with the Carters in towards the jungle. Very good at being that AP carry. Zyra came up most recently. There's always been this sort of AP carry to come up, as a lot of people are like, hey, Nidalee's the only champion you can play in towards the jungle who is an AP carrier. So I'm still waiting for the day where we get to see, you know, the Elise. We get to see the 131 coming out, the tower dives at level 2, as we do see Dolores take a little bit of a bad trade towards the top side. It could be level 2 versus level 1. He will have those HP pots to get himself up to pretty good HP, but that is the difficulty with picking Renekton early on, as Jax is such a well-known counter towards him that there's not much you can really do unless you do have a gank coming out from Haybridge or there's a mistakes coming out from Bill.
No, and to know Haybridge is roaming down from the top to the bottom, complete opposite to Kit Rukin, who is pathing topside and will be spotted on his raptors, as there is a ward in that bush, so they know the timing as well of how long Haybridge is going to be as he heads towards this bot side.
Yeah, really good ward out from there. Going to be able to spot out what this Nocturne wants to do. And for Ruddy in the early game, they are very happy with what's happened. Alex is pushing towards the mid lane, making sure he can move through his jungler if they need to. They get a full 6 camp clear from their jungler of the Carthers. Will be able to find that reset. Might be able to finish off the boots straight away if they want to, but instead are going to go for the Amplifying Tome and for the damage item themselves. As this early game is very much focused on Ruddy trying to survive, but mid.
Alex gonna dash in, Ball with a very nice roam here, trying to catch him, but Painful took a lot of the trade early on, means that he's not really gonna be able to fight into this too much. The missed hook from Ball gonna save Alex a walk back from the fountain.
We'll call that one a rough one for this team, as it is very much mechanically based the spot lane.
Meanwhile, Kit Rukin and Alaric have actually found Haybridge trying to get that bottom scuttle. Kit Rukin obviously doing his full clear, basing and running towards that bot side to try cover for his bot lane, and that Alistar, now level 2, has the pulverizing smash available to him. Haybridge going to be able to grab the scuttle crab off top side, and with the lantern be able to get away thanks to Ball.
You have to say, that's just really unlucky for Nativz, because they made the correct play to go towards the mid lane. Having the priority down bot lane because the Aphelios versus that Kai'Sa matchup, using that to have first real time on ball, get themselves and make the play towards the mid lane. Of course, that didn't work out. They were just minor plays that just seemed to not be going their way, but still getting themselves one of those Skull Crabs in towards the early game. Isn't going to be a major success, but at least they are not far behind, as it is still even on CS.
Space walking up into the river to try and get a ward down, gonna be caught by the rotating Kit Rukin and Alaric. Bit of an unfortunate timing from him there. Had the wave pushed out, decided to go try to place a ward down in that river, and will be caught and punished for it.
Yeah, Wave Stay was in an awkward position. He had to wait for his support to try and come back down. But because of how long that first fight went and extended for, he came at a longer time than we were expecting. So that does mean that Space is going to get caught out, but has that flash and barrier still available. So next time they try and go for that play, hopefully he will have the opportunity to try and stay alive. As Haybridge towards the top side, going to be trying to steal away any camp he can for Kit Rukin. So the biggest thing is trying to keep his jungler down as mid lane.
Yeah, Alex now going to be coming back with that cull, has a lot of damage, able to get it down onto Painful, who doesn't have as much short cooldowns as this Tristana does, and this is where the Tristana gets such a big advantage against the mages as well. Just being able to jump in, and once you burn your spells, I think the Tristana's still going to be on top of you and just going to be able to auto you down. And it's going to deal a lot of damage. It helps to neutralize this lane for Alex, who, you know, got shoved out early. And once again, a really good ward coming out from Alaric to spot Haybridge on his raptors.
Yeah, using the priority towards the mid lane to always get that vision in towards the enemy jungle. You see this from every really good mid laner from the NLC Division 1 or higher up, is they always try and get as much vision up towards this enemy jungler, especially in Haybridge when he's about to tick over towards that level 6. If he knows towards the top side, you know that he can only ult up there themselves, as a level 6 Nocturne can't really go too far, at least early into the game, as Alaric will come towards mid lane, help out.
Yeah, and now, oh, it's gonna be a 1-for-1. The tower shot going to go back for Painful, so it will be a 1-for-1 in mid lane. Great attempt from Alex, but unfortunately had to go a bit too deep for that, and the slow coming out from Painful's ultimate gonna keep him under tower just long enough to be able to secure the kill back.
Yeah, kill for kill isn't going to be the worst thing to happen towards this Nativz lineup, as we will see them steal away 2 of the Void Grubs, and most importantly, steal away this blue. As Karthik in this early game, or any AP carry, needs to make sure to have blue buff as much as possible, and he knows that Nativz towards the bot side and could be stealing away his. He needs to make sure that he picks up the blue buff first before he finishes off those Void Grubs, as if he doesn't have that blue buff, his clearing is going to be so much worse.
And now Hybraj with that kill towards the mid lane, and the wave being pushed up with that tied in with the priority that bot lane has been able to get so far in this lane. Gonna be able to secure the first dragon, and Ruddy only gonna grab 2 of the first Void Grubs as well, so they're still 2 away from that Void Grub passive.
Now, level 6 has been reached by Haybridge. I do expect fights to be coming up pretty soon from him, as we will have the top lane going for a skirmish. Level 6 for both.
Yeah, and here now going to come out a lot of damage being dealt back and forth. Build going very low here. Had to pop the ultimate early, and unfortunately Kit Rukin is available to come up towards this top side, but Theo doing a lot of damage back, but the flash stun coming in from Built is going to be enough to take him down. Great run from Kit Rukin.
I was about to say, Built played that exceptionally well. He went for the fight as long as possible and then gets himself out to safety, as he knew his jungler Kidruka was going to come up and help with that play. But with a little outplay for Dolores, it does mean that he will have to expend this flash overall. But I said this top lane matchup gets hard for Renekton the longer the game goes. Now that first kill, it's going to be much harder to try and play this. This level 6 is still available for Haybridge, but it's started to come to a point of time where can you actually dive bot lane, especially when Alistar is almost at that level 6 marker. When that comes through, it basically becomes impossible. So all this pressure they wanted to have towards the bot lane is basically negated, as they haven't been able to find some early kills down there.
That is the case, and now Kit Rukin got to be clearing through his camps once again. Has been doing a very good job of getting on these cycles, making sure that he can take away everything and stop Hybraj from going for these invades to take his camps, which we've been seeing him do, because as that fight came in on the top side, Hybraj was actually down in that bot side jungle, just pushing in, trying to take what he can. He got spotted on a ward, and the Kai'Sa roamed up to stop him taking the blue buff. I think he may have got it in the end, but still good vision coming out from Ruddy, and this is something they've been showing all game so far, is that they are willing to fight for this vision and make sure that they have eyes on Hybraj as often as possible.
Yeah, and there's actually going to be a big change towards the spot lane when this static shift has come through from this Kai'Sa. So they're going to opt towards Altic to go for a reset most likely, head towards the bot lane when they have the teleport available, as they're putting Kai'Sa towards the mid lane, or at least hovering to make sure that they can pick up these Void Grubs, as Dolores, like I keep saying, is going to be winning this top lane the longer the game goes, which means their split push pressure is going to be insurmountable the longer the game goes. And with those Void Grubs going over, already getting themselves 2 towards their pocket, they can get themselves up to 5. That's going to be really helpful to try and take out these towers.
Now Kit Rukin towards this top side once again. Hybraj is here and has the paranoia available if he wants to, if there is an engage, but just gonna roam back down, try to group up with Alex as well, as they try to look for some camps back. Kit Rukin, of course, had a couple camps stolen, but the counter-strike going to come out and it's going to stun out the Aloris, going to take a lot of damage out of him as well, so he's just going to have to back off. But Alex now jumping onto Painful. Ball is here, but the jump away from Alex going to stop him in his tracks, but a lot of damage being dealt by Painful. Ball with the Ignite going to seal off that kill, and over towards the top side, the Paranoia did come in over onto Built. Built knew that Hybraj was up here, but still engaged in the fight, and it's going to cost him his life.
Yeah, really good players coming out from Nativz, not being able to find that hook, but still, because it was a good roam time and Nativz finding the kill towards the mid lane, finding the kill towards the top side, and stealing away at one of these Void Grubs. Not perfect for what they wanted, as Ruddy will be trying to fight them on the way out here, but I do expect if Nativz can just try and walk themselves out to safety.
Yeah, people going to get caught here. Nada doing a lot of damage, using the killer instinct to get on top of him. Ball now caught. You know, trying to get away from 3. Ignite is ticking on him, but surely once Alaric gets his WQ back up, but no, they're actually just going to have to run away. They can't commit to chasing him for that long. The W from the Kai'Sa going to stop Ball's base, but that's all that's going to stop.
Yeah, they're going to miss a lot of their roam timings if they don't actually go for the reset there. And it was just an overextension coming out from Nativz. They were able to get that Void Grub, able to find those 2 kills. And you just get yourself out of there afterwards, but instead try to opt to stay a little bit longer. An incredible snipe W from Nata allows him to extend that fight and get themselves into a great position. But now Nativz find a kill in mid, find a kill on top. We're going to have to see if they want to try and extend this by getting themselves towards this second dragon. So that will be spawning in 15 seconds. Top lane does have teleport if he wants to try and join this fight. And I feel like going for these dragons could be a major win con from this Nativz roster, especially when you want to take these team fights with this Aphelios.
Built there, just shoving in that wave, gonna grab a plate for himself, but now it's Ruddy with the priority towards this second dragon. And only 3 Void Grubs actually going to get taken this game, so neither team will have that Void Grub buff. Now, yeah, this is going to be another Drake. Ball trying to get the Q over the wall to steal it, but won't be able to have it land. So we'll be tied on Drakes for the time being.
Yeah, it's just a really awkward opportunity there because your AD carry doesn't have his first item completed. Your jungler doesn't have ultimate up themselves, and Haybridge is also known for if you don't have ultimate on Nocturne, the champion just doesn't feel the same. This is when Nativz opted to instead try and farm up a little bit more instead of going for these major objectives, as they can still try and farm up.
X Flash coming in from Alaric with a great time jump from Alex as well. Spiraling Despair going to go out onto Alaric, though there's no follow-up here from the native side. The Paranoia is available for Highbridge, but he's just too far away to be able to help.
Painful's been doing a really good job of soaking up this damage in this early game, as I believe he's been ganked about 4 or 5 times by this Alistar. Every time that they can get away from this bot lane, you keep noticing the Ruddy support and Nativz support always go towards this mid, see if they can find themselves a kill. As Painful not having that jump like Tristana has, it's a lot more difficult to try and stay safe in towards this mid lane, which makes it even more aggressive.
Get Rukin here, just going to come in and try to smite away, but Highbridge's going to spot him out, will get the Grump for himself. And now sitting towards this top side, as we said, still has the Paranoia available, so can look to potentially go on to build here. It worked the last time, but Ball going to be caught by Alaric. Headbutt Pulverize going to come down, but there's the Paranoia in response onto build towards that top side. Build will be able to jump away, but now the rotation coming up from the rest of Ruddy to try to catch them out. No, they're going to go for this Herald. They're going to just try to secure the objective now that natives have to back away.
Yeah, Nativz can't try and contest this, but Aphelios is all alone towards the bot lane. No teleport available from Ruddy, as they had been expended earlier on, will allow him to get that first tower plate gold. Already has that Infinity Edge finished, so that does mean his boots will come through earlier on as well. So space can actually become a real big damage source from Nativz if they want to try and play around him, as now that they have to reset as well on the side of Ruddy, they can look to maybe push out this mid lane as well, see if they can get themselves another tower or at least some chip damage on it.
Yeah, and space having so much pressure in that bot lane, getting at least 3 plates plus the Cull Gold, going to be up an extra 600, and then just from the farm alone gives him that extra to round it off to 1k. So doing great in this bot lane to just individually get himself ahead. Like we said, that Aphelios is going to be strong once he gets to 2-3 items. So and now Alex might be caught here. Ball gonna spot him out, and there's 4 members of natives, or 3 members of natives here, but Ball biting off more than he could chew. Not gonna have any support here. Doesn't have flash to get over the wall. What we thought could be a nice pick coming out for natives, gonna turn in favor of Ruddy.
Yeah, they just didn't have enough vision. There was a small opportunity where it could have worked from them. However, Alistar being straight around the bat, Painful not having the dash available, and Haybridge didn't have ultimate, the play just always was never going to work. So a free kill going up towards the side of Ruddy, getting full pressure towards his bot side as well, is when you don't have your support up, of course you don't have the numbers advantage, so they have to give over towards this bot lane, the tower. That gives Tristana even more gold, already 2 kills to her name, and now even more gold into their pocket.
Yeah, it's going to be a plate solo over to the Tristana. Going to go up 800 gold in difference towards that mid lane. Now, basically the separation between the mid and the bot lane makes them even. Side now, it does look like Theo maybe will get this top side tower. Paranoia coming in on top of space, but will use the Grandmaster at arms to try to knock off some of this damage. But the amount of CC available to Space and Theo just doing great in this game to be able to pair up and find these kills onto the Jax.
Yeah, there are things coming through. Nativz need to try and get out here. Alistar's way too tanky to try and kill.
Yeah, Alistar ultimate gotta be popped. That's that half damage now, but here comes in the Requiem and Alex as well following in. The Requiem not doing as much damage as they hoped, but having this many members being able to rotate up here, they should be able to find 2 easy kills and gift them over to the Tristana.
Yeah, trying to get something too much. They should have just walked out straight away, thinking maybe they could find something on towards the Alistar. But great TP coming out from Alex will allow them to find the kill and most likely find this top lane tower. The counterplay from Nativz was getting towards this mid lane tower, going to place some wards as well around this dragon pit as well, as that is going to be spawning in 20 seconds. So I do expect them to try and play for this objective as the top lane tower has gone down.
Yeah, top lane tower gonna be taken down, and so is the mid lane tower for the side of Ruddy. They've lost all their tier 1s for now, and that's gonna be a nice gold injection for Nativz as they try to push towards these tier 2s. Still, Nativz holding on to their mid tier 1, which will give them a little bit more map pressure. It does help to see. It just helps them, you know, have that little bit more of a vision line and help them keep their waves pushed up that little bit more as we start to move in for this next dragon.
I mean, it just opens up the map, allow you to get the vision line, like you said, as Nativz will have first move towards it, have that control, making the enemy team try and walk in towards them. And I'm going to be interested about, can Aphelios pump out this damage? He already has those 2 items completed, but can they keep him safe?
The side of Ruddy now trying to look for a flank over towards this top side, but the dragon is up. The only one down here is built, so they're just gonna have to give this over, and it looks like they're gonna try to run towards this top side, take away those camps, potentially look for that tier 2 top, or at least push the wave in to make it a little bit more uncomfortable for Nativz.
Yeah, could even maybe look for this tier 1 mid lane. This is why we see them not all finish it together. Instead, make sure Aphelios can move slightly earlier. Same with their mid laner or Painful to try and just hold on towards these waves. As we can even see the Threshlands again used as well to try and defend this top lane tower. So Rifthound is going to be placed down, should be able to pick up this tower. And I think they should be able to get a second charge on this if they want to. But instead, we'll try and go for the safer bet. Get yourself out of there, use the Rifthound to do so. As this is actually quite a good game of macro from Nativz, or if you lose like somewhere, but can you gain something somewhere else, as we see them hiding in the mid lane. Yeah,
Death Bush coming out. Alaric gonna flash headbutt pulverize over the wall, but Nativz are here and they're ready to fight under this tower. The tower still hasn't gone down. It's got a lot of damage over on, and they're the Spiraling Despair doing so much to be able to stun up and damage the side of Ruddy, and this is not the fight they were hoping for. 3 members going to fall as Alaric and Kitrukin having to run for their lives.
I mean, it was just a huge mistake coming out from the support Alaric. He wanted to finally engage with the headbutt pulverize, isn't able to do so, pushes him away, and then pushes him towards the Raptor camp where Space flashes over. So when Kai'Sa tries to dash in to kill him, she's in no man's land, allowing the Renekton to start taking over this fight. And now, with those extra couple kills in towards their pocket, they now have a 2,000 gold lead, full control towards the mid and bot lanes. They even pick up another tower.
Yeah, Ruddy looking for something big, but overcooked it a little bit. And of course, the TP coming out from Painful right away once that fight ends to head towards that bot tier 2. Not going to be able to find it as Kitrukin does live in that fight and is able to base, but taking down that mid tier 2 in response to the top tier 2 on the side of Nativz, just going to keep that map pressure up, and that's what these 2 teams have been jockeying for this whole time.
It's all trying to keep up that map pressure. As both of these teams, if they leave this Baron alone for too long, it is going to be instantly taken. As we said about how the meta is more on this AP carry towards the jungle, I mean, you can have an AD carry towards the mid lane yourselves, or even having that huge amount of damage. So even if Nativz and Ruddy only have about 30 seconds on this objective, it is instantly going to get taken out.
Now, Vision coming in on the Baron pit for the side of Ruddy. Alaric just actually having to cancel his base in case they do try to clear this ward and start up the Baron. But Nativz, knowing that Renekton is bot side with no TP, so they're just going to try to get whatever vision they can, try to clear out what they can, and just play it safe until they can get some more time in. But the Requiem coming out to try help Built in this fight solo bolo in the bot lane, but Built now being up 1.2k gold after that mid lane fight means that he can easily kill this Jax.
I mean, you can always try and force out a TP if you want to try and go for this objectives, but Renekton should be getting taken out here, has no ultimate available.
Yeah, but he's doing a great job of delaying that Tristana in the bot lane, getting into the bush before she could actually have vision of him. So just delaying and making it so difficult for him. Now the ultimate going to come out of Tristana. It's going to be a close 1v1, but the dash going to be in for Theo. The flash still available from Alex means that he will trade it out. But now the Tristana is in no man's land on this bot lane. Still has the TP available, so will hit that base TP. Potentially coming in as they're going to catch Kit Rukin straight away, and that is going to be a blown up jungler. They are going to have to turn away from the Baron, but at least it gives them that little bit more pressure.
Going to keep themselves a little bit more pressure. As where's this Nativz been for the last 4 or 5 games? They're able to fight back. They're making some great plays, and even though the top lane play or the bot lane play against Tristana isn't what they wanted, they still had some fight about them. As yes, Ruddy gets it out towards the mid lane. Nativz are looking so much better as a team, at least cohesion wise. They still are 1,400k gold up. Need to try and gain vision around this Baron pretty soon, as if you leave this open for too long, like I keep saying, Ruddy can try and take this off the map.
And the big thing is that they were able to burn 2 TPs. They got Built and Alex's TP during that Baron fake. So at least now they can try to pull them around the map that little bit. If that Tristana goes towards that bot side again and the Nativz have a position to be able to go and start up this Baron, there's going to be no way for them to rotate up.
Going to be really difficult to try and rotate up to that, but you see the reset coming through from the Alistar gives a big opportunity for Nativz to try and open this up. Worst case, they can just try and start this objective, get themselves off if they want to, but the teleport from Renekton, I think they just want to finish this.
Yeah, and the guns on the Aphelios having white green and then white red to be able to kill that so fast. I think people still underestimate how much damage this Aphelio can pump out when he has those chakrams available, and will be the first Baron of the game going over to Nativz. And it is like you said, where's this Nativz been this entire time? They're not being over aggressive. Their vision lines have been very good. They're making sure that they can follow up and get Theo through that early game, which we've seen him struggle through. And now as we come up to this 4th Drake of the game, it will look to be going over to Ruddy, but they have to be careful because we can see the Nativz side with that Baron buff just pushing up that mid lane.
Yeah, I actually massively agree, not contested for this objective, as it is only the second one from this Ruddy side, but 3 items on Tristana, 2.5 on towards the Kai'Sa themselves, so very difficult to try and make this fight happen and go towards your way. When Space is your main carry and only has 2.5 items, you want him to be at that 3-mark threshold to try and be that main carry. So instead, they will push out this mid lane, go towards the top lane tower as well. But even though they've given up so much, can they get something from this?
Killer's Instinct going to come in on top of the Requiem in the box as well to try to slow them down, but Nativz may have bitten off more than they could chew here. The Kai'Sa doing a great job to be able to kill out the Aphelios, and that's all of their damage down. In the meantime, Alex has been making sure that Theo can't roam up and can't do anything. He doesn't have that TP available, so he won't be able to get into this fight. Painful now getting caught out by Nada as well, who's been doing great in this fight. And Nativz, again, just they pushing up through that mid wave, gonna lose 2 of their Baron buffs and giving 2 kills back over to Ruddy.
Well, their main goal was to push towards this mid lane, hover up towards the top side and try and take this top lane tier 2. But the problem was they were too slow on their positioning walking up. So they think, okay, if we can't do this, we have numbers advantage up top, let's go for this fight. But clearly, with how strong these AD carries are on the side of Ruddy, you can't be winning these fights. When I said before, the reason they didn't go for the objective is because, you know, they don't have the items they need.
Yeah, and Theo obviously going those Merc threads to be able to avoid some of the CC on the side of Ruddy means that this Tristana just does so much damage with the charged up satchel bomb. It just does so much. As we've seen, it could chunk him down from pretty much full to 80 or to 20% HP in about 3 or 4 seconds. So really has to be careful, because now they're just making sure that Alex, because we know that Built can't lane into Theo anymore. We're seeing Alex, who has that 2k gold lead towards that mid lane, who's about even even with Theo actually a bit ahead in items, just able to make sure that Theo can't split push, can't push up these waves. And then Alex gonna have his TP up in the next 10 seconds, so they can put him down in this bot lane and still be able to TP in if Nativz try to go for an objective or try to go for like a top lane play.
Yeah, because you don't pick the Renekton to be that late game powerhouse in the side lanes. You pick something like a Camille, Viola, something along those lines, even the Jax, to try and help out the longer the game goes. So when you pick something like the Renekton and they haven't found a massive lead early on, it always does scare me from this side lane pressure. Fortunately, you do have a Nocturne on your team, so there are definite possibilities of trying to find a flank or try and find a way on top of someone, do those plays. But Nativz, I need to see a good team fight coming out from them, because I don't think side lane is the way to win. And even in team fight, if they're against an Alistar, Kai'Sa, Tristana, it just seems very difficult to try and play.
Yeah, that's for sure. And now Theo up top side with build, but Nada is here. If he's able to land a W here, he can Killer Instinct up to Theo, and that could be another kill over towards the Kai'Sa. But Theo just gonna respect it, try to get away, make sure that they can't find another kill on this side lane, as it is a risk. They cannot give over more and more kills. And just slowly, you know, bleeding gold back into Ruddy's pockets. But now Rukin and Alex sitting on the bot lane, just making sure that nobody tries to push out that side wave, gonna shove that back into the tower. And Ruddy doing a great job of making sure that when Nativz are trying to get this pressure towards mid and top side, that this bot lane is always pushed in and threatened by Alex.
Yeah, because you don't know where Painful is. He could have actually gone towards the bot lane and get fought out, as Carter has nothing to clear towards the top side, nothing to clear any of these jungle camps. So him being towards the bot lane here doesn't really affect the team, as he is going to be very close towards that level 16 mark. That ultimate is really going to start packing a punch when he gets towards that mark. So Ruddy pretty happy to try and scale up, allow the enemy team to try and match them. So I still feel like Ruddy have the better scaling options, and this is why we've seen the pace of the game slow down a little bit from them compared to the mid game we saw beforehand. But still, built in an awkward situation, but the support from his support will allow him to get out of safety.
Yeah, Ball going to be spotted out on that ward. Alara going to be able to use that the blast cone to be able to get over the wall and be spotted out by Ball and just make Nativz turn away from this top line attempt. In the meantime, though, mid wave's just being sent back and forth, ping-ponged back between the two, both the Nativz and the Ruddy teams, just trying to get as much pressure as they can. But now as the next two objectives come up, Dragon in 30 seconds, Baron is slightly before it, but
Tristana going for that reset, trying to make sure that she is able to be on the time again herself as much CS as possible. Nativz will have to walk in towards the enemy. The only way they've won these fights is when they've played it perfectly, especially with this Alistar being so tanky.
yeah, not going to burn any ultimates, just getting a bunch of damage. But the Moonlight Vigil actually is going to come down onto the Alistar. Not really the target you want there. Theo going to get stunned up super quickly. Requiem coming in, doing so much damage to the Native side. But the Renekton on the backside going to trade a lot of damage. But there's the Killer Instinct coming in for Nada, doing so much damage. And now Nativ's not going to be able to contest this any longer.
Yeah, gonna have to give this up. Do a teleport on paper if they wanted to try and go for a play afterwards, but it just feels a little bit too risky. If you die here, that could be the end of the game. So they should just try and walk out here, but instead we'll try and still aren't going to be able to get that out. And now Ruddy in a position, because Nativz didn't reset straight away, they can maybe even start this Baron. As you've got the Warmogs on Alistar, he's going to be super tanky. Kai'Sa doesn't really need mana to be dealing damage against it, so Ruddy will be starting up this Baron.
Yeah, Nativz are not in a position to be able to contest this at all. Theo and Hybrid still down for another 15 seconds, and when that double AD carry, you can just see that health bar melt down so fast. Painful trying to just step in. They're trying to find potentially something to exit, but Alaric, like you said, with that Warmogs healing back up to full, gonna mean that they can't really do anything here. And now Vision, yeah, Vision just gonna be cleared out by Ball, trying to spot out for any stragglers trying to base in a bush, but not gonna be able to find anyone. Ruddy just going to play it safe, get those bases off, and now Nativz trying to push out the lanes as much as they can before this Ruddy roster start pushing into them.
Yeah, they have good. Well, they're really good wave clear at least. They got themselves, of course, Painful, somebody, a champion that is able to clear these waves almost in an instant. You have Space, of course, can be able to clear from a very long range. They have plenty of time to try and stop them from fighting it, but they are against the Tristana, a Kai'Sa, and a Jax. They can go for a 1-3-1 on the Ruddy side. And that is what they're seeming to opt towards. They will push in towards this mid lane. But I do expect Jax to be the major threat.
And now Hybraj gonna be able to get his camp and use that lantern to get away. Just use Nativz having to play on the back foot for the next few minutes. They need to play safe or try to find someone off on their own. But Ruddy are doing a great job. And you know, every time we see a hook land, it's always onto Alaric. And with and the Alistar being able to use that ultimate to just cancel the CC and then take half damage makes it so difficult for Nativz to be able to actually find damage onto Nada or onto Kirukin. Or Alex for that fact as well, because as we can see, Alex also sitting up around 3k health, no armor, but gotta be hard to kill that Tristana as well. And once again, hook from Ball gonna head towards Alaric, not gonna be able to do too much, but with the Baron powered minions, gonna be able to siege onto this bot tier 3 as the rest of the way, as the mid lane wave starts to get pushed in as well. Nativ's gonna roam back up, but now Ball gonna get caught by the Karthus, but just a little bit of damage traded back and forth.
Yeah. He just got absolutely annihilated there. Ruddy going for a great play, using the ult from the Kai'Sa to find that kill. And now with their main carry down of Space, they can just push towards the mid lane. It feels like the whole base is just crumbling apart. So get the bot lane in here, get the mid lane as well, and they could even look for the end here.
Yeah, it's looking like it's a bit over for Nativz. Spiraling Despair on towards that Alistar, followed up by the Paranoia by Hybraj, but the jump away from Alex going to keep him alive for the time being. A lot of damage being dealt, but just Nativz cannot get through these health bars. Painful, not in a position now with the tanks being down to be able to actually trade onto anyone, and Ruddy going to seal it out in 32 minutes.
To be honest, I'm actually pretty positive about the way the Nativz played. Yes, it wasn't perfect, but they definitely had some fight to them in towards the mid game. And Heltic, I think you can agree, and even with you, Lisa, everything that we've seen so far, they're definitely looking a lot better today than they did yesterday.
Yeah, that's for sure. I
They
think
are. And I kind of wonder, where was this Nativz before? Because I feel like if we had this kind of plays and if we had this kind of teamwork that we had today, we could have maybe won a few of the games we had before.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. We could have definitely at least done something more. We still, of course, have another week to get ourselves prepped for that relegation battle. Because remember, Division 1 side can't go down unless they lose to a Division 2. So we have plenty of opportunities to try and stay our way up here. So I do expect some positive signs from this Nativz roster, at least going forward.
Fingers crossed we get to see something like improving for next week, and maybe even for the battles to guarantee that we're not the losers, the complete losers of the season. But yeah, it was a good game to watch in some aspects. There are definitely some things we have to improve. That's no news. But I feel like we had some improvement from last week. What do you think, Heltic?
I definitely think so. And even from our game yesterday, I feel like we've, as we've seen from Dem, he's been trying to, you know, have the team try different things, try different formulas to be able to find what the team is best at. And, you know, we've seen in the last game yesterday, we were very aggressive and that seemed to work until it didn't. And today we were just as close, but weren't able to get seal it out. But hello to Theo. How are you after that tough loss to Ruddy?
Hello, I'm fine. I'm kinda proud of the early mid game we show. It was not like I think it was a great loss. So I'm kinda fine with how we show today.
Yeah, Thea, I wanted to say a massive congratulations on today, as I watched a lot of your gameplay of the Renekton versus the Jax. Very much a skill matchup for the Renekton, using the double E to try and make sure that you don't get hit by that counter strike. And I think you did a very good job. But I want to know the difference from today than yesterday, because of course everybody can agree that Ruddy is a much harder competition compared to Blue Whites. What happened?
I think yesterday we disrespect like too much. Even the draft I think was not really great. We pick almost full AD against Malphite. We didn't play well as well, including me. I think we had like good lane, but after in mid late game we just completely fall. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, they just play better than us yesterday, and we should not disrespect like this. And yeah, I mean, I prefer like to lose to the last 2 days than yesterday, because I feel we are better team than them, but we just don't show a level yesterday.
Yeah, and how do you feel about today's draft more specifically compared to yesterday's?
So I didn't hear you. You're muted
No
on
problem.
Discord.
Yeah,
Like,
so
don't know if you talk to me.
can you hear me now? Apparently not. Zeth, can you
Okay,
carry
I
on
will,
with
I
the
will ask
question?
you,
Sorry.
Dolores. Okay, the question that Lisa was trying to ask you is, what was the difference between today's draft and yesterday's draft?
I think we got more front to back comp, and we got more tools to engage. We are. I mean, I'm maybe more comfortable on Renekton, and I think the comp is just easier to play. We don't play some spicy thing like Pantheon and other thing. So yeah, I will say it was a bit easier, and also I really like the matchup. I know it a lot, so for me, this game was easier to play than yesterday.
Yeah, I want to say a massive thank you. Is there anything you want to say towards your fans or anyone on this Nativz coach stream for how you guys are looking towards the future?
Yeah. So first, thank you to host this channel and to support us. It feels really great when you have some people that telling you nice try and just cheering for us. Thank you to my dad as well that watch my every match and support me. And yeah, so sorry for the result. We all wanted to go to playoff, but we will try to bounce back next week and offer you good show and maybe some win, so we can left the league in a good way.
Thank you. That is much appreciated. Lisa, would you like to finish us off?
Sure. So first, a special thanks to Ireland Esports Collegiate Series, powered by Nativz, providing esports competitions for students in Ireland. You can find more information under comment IECS. We also have our sponsors, Oxen, our official kit partner that is selling the items of Nativz merch. It's available on their website under comment Oxen, and we have Allotment, our official purpose partner, acting to preserve the coral reefs of Koh Tai, Thailand, and support the local communities under comment Allotment. Zeth, thank you for today. Thank you, Hautik. Theo is probably not hearing, but thank you anyway. And I'll see you guys next week on Tuesday at 9 p.m. CET for our game against VNC. Bye.